So, long time no see, but still the problems that I have brought up many times that are still here in Inventor. So here we have a perfectly legitimate assembly that has some degrees of freedom as I expected to have. And now I will just show you how Inventor is not capable of applying simple set of constraints in the assembly where there are no flexible components and that are constraints that are fully legitimate, and they in theory do not produce any geometrical problems. So any problems that we will see come straight from the way Inventor solves the constraining problem, and they come from the fact that this is not correct. So I will place a simple assembly consisting of only few elements with very simple set of constraints inside. And what I want to do now is I want to align the XY plane of this assembly with the actually it's XZ the plane of this. So this sheeting roof surface is basically as this one aligned perpendicular to the truss, and it follows this slope of the truss. To do that, I will just use a simple flash constraint between the proper origin plane of the assembly of this piece of the truss, and I will just use the XY origin plane of the assembly of the sheeting. So far so good. I know for a fact that this should be probably 50. No, actually it should be 100. Okay, so now I have this sheet following the plane that I want, but what I want is I want to be rotated as this one. And for that reason, because this truss has basically a changing geometry, so I want to constrain, for my purposes, the YZ plane of the top level assembly with a x-axis of the roof sheeting assembly, which is fully legitimate constraint because this origin axis, once positioned in this plane, will allow proper alignment. So there is no geometrical problem with this constraint. Actually, the same set of constraints is applied on the other side, so it was applied without any issues. So now, having selected this origin plane of the top level assembly and having the mate constraint type selected, I will select the x-axis of the origin plane. So far not good, because we already see that it is not showing a preview, although it should, and I stress it in a very clear way. This constraint in terms of geometrical expectations of the model is fully legitimate. There is no geometry that prevents this constraint to be valid and to be applied properly in terms of how the model is built and what the geometry is. The only problem that we will now see comes from the solver error in Inventor that is not capable of solving this as a properly applied constraint. So we are now getting this assembly cannot be solved, ridiculous error that is not correct, that is actually the opposite of what we should expect, because this constraint is fully legitimate. It should be applied properly. So when I apply this, of course we have the conflicting constraint, which is not true, because this is possible, and this is applied for the other side. When I now drag this, everything breaks. But what I will now do the undo and I will delete this constraint. And now, as we can see here, this is applied, and I want to free rotate that to the point where it roughly fits. And now that, and now I will apply the constraint again as it was. So this with that in 100. So now this constraint is fully legitimate and this is applied, but just a second ago when I tried to do the same set of constraints the opposite way, so first one applied this and the other one applied that later, so they produce the same outcome, the same geometry, but they have not been solved properly, which again and again proves that the constraint solver is Inventor is faulty. It has very serious bug in it, very probably deep in the solver itself, and still really nothing was done to fix it because it's still here. And in case you want to do the things the other way around, they do not apply. So if this is rotated in a way, so firstly it is like that, and I apply the same set of constraints, exactly the same set of constraints. The constraint solver either solves the assembly or does not solve the assembly, and now it did, so why it did not in the first place once this was basically like that? So now I'm doing the same as I did in the first place. Sorry. And now we are getting this error. This is the same set, the exact same set of constraints. So this proves purely, this clearly proves bug in the Inventor constraint solver, and this is ongoing for years and there is no change whatsoever in how the constraint solver behaves. So this is still not stable. This still prevents you from using flexibility, positional representations, and basically even solving the properly aligned simple level assembly with only top level constraints involved in solve. So really there is nothing more you can say. It's just not working and there is no progress in fixing it.